Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are making some good old Southern comfort food. So we're going to be making some broccoli and cheese rice casserole. This casserole is absolutely delicious and I love making this for my family. It's one of the ways that I show them love is just cooking home cooked meals like this one. And so come along with me. I'm going to show you everything on how to make this really easy and delicious casserole. So you're going to need some rice, and I actually just cooked some rice up in my rice cooker, but if you have leftover rice, that is perfect. I cooked my rice a little bit earlier today and it's a little bit stiff, so it may be harder to mix in. So if you have rice that's already warmed up or just cooked, that's probably the best time to go ahead and mix all of these ingredients together. So for this recipe, you're going to find everything that you need in my description. You can find the full recipe with all of the measurements and everything like that. So go check that out for the full recipe. But come along with me as we just chit chat and cook together. So I got my rice in the bowl, and you're going to use a cream of mushroom soup. This is going to be your base for the rice. It's going to create essentially like a sauce, but you really don't have to make the sauce. It's very easy. You just get some cream of mushroom soup out of the pantry, which is one of the reasons that I love this dish. It's really easy to make, and you can make it in the weeknight dinners or on the weekends, whenever you want. It's really not that difficult to make. So I'm popping my bowl of rice and milk and mushroom soup into the microwave just because it's a little bit stiff and hard to mix. So I want to loosen it up a little bit. While that's in the microwave, get yourself a 9 by 13 dish, and I'm going to spray it with some non-stick spray just so that it doesn't stick. And you're going to be using some cheese as well, so go ahead and get some of those ingredients out. And you're going to use broccoli and an onion. So the broccoli, you can use fresh steamed broccoli, whatever you have. I'm using that kind of microwavable steamed broccoli you get at Walmart. And I'm using an onion here that I got from my garden. So I'm excited to start using the onions that I've picked from my garden this week. So the onion is optional, but it does create that really yummy Southern flavorful taste. So I definitely recommend it. So if you like onions, go ahead and make sure that you don't leave those out. And if you don't have onions, you can also use a little bit of onion powder or minced dried onion, and that should work as well. So I'm just mincing it in small little pieces, and I'm going to go ahead and add that into my mixture in just a moment. So this dish is something that I learned how to make a while back. I really don't know where I learned it, but I know that it's just been something that has been quite a staple for me. I make it off and on here with our dinners. It pairs well as a side, but you can also make it a meal in itself. I used to add chicken directly into the casserole, and whether it was diced chicken or shredded chicken, it creates a meal that way. So that's one other way that you can make this recipe and make it into an actual meal. So I've diced up my onion there, and now I'm getting my broccoli open. I actually didn't steam this broccoli, but if you like your broccoli really soft, you may want to steam it beforehand, and that creates a much yummier, kind of softer taste to it. We kind of like that in between, so I'm going to go ahead and just use it straight out of the freezer, and it should still work just fine. So if you like a creamier casserole, I would recommend you use 2 of the cans of mushroom soup, or if you like a little bit of a chicken flavor, go ahead and add in the cream of chicken soup. Adding 2 of those will make it extra creamy and really, really delicious. We're trying to watch what we eat right now, so we are just going to do 1 can of mushroom soup, but I actually prefer it to have 2. It's much yummier and creamier. So that's up to you and your taste. You can find everything in the description on how to do that and some of those optional items. So now I'm adding in my onions, and I'm adding in salt and pepper to taste, and I'm going to go ahead and add in my broccoli. So with the broccoli, some of these are florets, so I'm going to kind of pull them apart and make them kind of stretch in the recipe. You want smaller pieces in there unless you prefer to have the big florets. I prefer little pieces throughout, and it's a good way to also sneak in some vegetables for your kids. They think they're eating rice or some other kind of casserole, but they're still getting their broccoli in there as well. So I'm just mixing everything together. This is a very easy recipe. It doesn't really matter how you mix it, what order you mix the things in, or any of that. So just go ahead and get yourself a bowl and mix all of these ingredients in together. You can give it a little taste throughout and see if you want to add in any more salt or pepper, or maybe you prefer some other seasoning in there. You can really make it your own, whatever you like. So I'm going to go ahead and get my dish ready for everything to be poured into. I'm going to go ahead and pour in my rice mixture. And even while it's in the baking dish, I can still mix in there and kind of spread things evenly. So my bowl was a little bit small to mix in, so I'm glad that you can still mix in the baking dish. It seemed like I had a lot of rice, so I'm leaving a little bit of rice out. And I'm gonna see how all of this is and if we have enough broccoli throughout. And if I do, then I'm just gonna go ahead and bake it like this. If it needs more rice, I'll add in that other little bit of rice. So really make it your own and think about how you like it. And so I'm kind of spreading everything out. It looks pretty good. So I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna top it with some cheese. And so the cheese just goes on top. You do mix in some cheese as well, so I forgot to mention that sometimes I do that in the bowl. And so I'm just going to go ahead and do it in the baking dish. I didn't really have a lot of space in my bowl to do that, so I'm doing it right here in my baking. Just add in about half of a cup of the cheese, or whatever you like to your taste. I'm adding in a little bit more salt and pepper, and then once I get it all done, I'll spread it evenly, and then you can go ahead and top with the rest of your cheddar cheese. So this recipe, if you like a little bit of crunch, you can, crush up some crackers, whether that's Ritz or saltines, or maybe you have some other kind of cracker, and just kind of crush it up, and you can sprinkle it on top of your cheese or with your cheese, and it creates a really yummy taste as well. I'm not going to do that with this casserole today, but that is an option in the description recipe. If you go check that out, it is really yummy to do that as well. So if you do have Ritz and you like a little crunch, I definitely recommend doing that. If you have like fried onions, the little salad fried onions, or the ones that you use for green bean casserole, that's also really yummy to sprinkle on top for a little bit of crunch as well. So make it your own. And this casserole is just yummy. It's just comfort food. It feels like home. It's one of the ways that I like to take care of my family, is making homemade comfort food meals just like this. So here it is in the baking dish. That's what it looks like. And all you're gonna do is stick it in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes at 350 degrees. And this is how it comes out looking. Y'all, it is so yummy. I'm about to have some of this with some meatloaf, and it is just so good. Thank you for coming along.